box set of 4. Along with the Jedi Path and Book of the Sith. In this set, and they're kind of like in-universe books. Like the Sith book is like an actual, like Sith journal passed down. And same with the Jedi journal, the Jedi Path. So if you're interested in checking out these 2 books, I will put a link down in the description below to the video where we check out Book of the Sith and the Jedi Path. But today, we are, of course, going to be focusing on the Bounty Hunter Code and the Imperial Handbook. I really think these books are neat just because they all have different textures on the covers, as well as different aesthetics. Like, this one has like the black on the pages, and the pages are very imperial looking, whereas this one, has kind of like a jaggedy edge. And again, the Jedi and the Sith books also have their own unique textures and look. So they're definitely very neat. I will say they are legends. Like it kind of mixes canon and legends. There's like some stuff which is canon, some stuff which is legends. They were written. I remember I looked it up and now I totally forgot, but I want to say in like the early 2010s. And there's like stuff from Star Wars, The Old Republic, and the Sith one, and whatnot, so they are legends, but they're still very, very cool. And definitely a neat thing to have. So I think I'll go ahead and start with the Imperial Handbook here. But as always, I'll put timestamps down in the description, so if you want to start with the Bounty Hunter Code instead, just, click on the time on the video and jump ahead to there. But anyways, let's start with the Imperial Handbook. So we have a very glossy, smooth texture. It's the only book that has this texture, or this type of texture. And then, of course, Star Wars, the Imperial logo, and Imperial Handbook. And then same thing on the side. And then the back is mostly blank, except for catch the light, right, you can see there is an Imperial logo. And like I said before, the edges of the pages have been colored. And they have an all black appearance, which is kind of cool. So it looks like it starts out with a note by Luke. This copy of the Imperial Handbook dates from just before the destruction of the first Death Star at the Battle of Yavin. This looks like this is like a captured handbook type of deal. So I don't know about this one, but looks like the rebels annotated this. Let's see if they put a guide to their handwriting. Doesn't look like it, but you can see there's like notes in the margins. This one's by Han. This one's by Leia, so it's like kind of like in universe like that. Let's see. Anyways, let's go. So we got the sections here. We got the Imperial Military, the Imperial Navy, the Imperial Army, the Stormtrooper Corps, the Imperial Doctrine. Here's introduction by His Imperial Majesty, Emperor Palpatine. It's very United Kingdom, Great Britain sort of title, like His Majesty's government, by His Imperial Majesty, Emperor Palpatine. I've never actually heard that before, referring to Palpatine. So here's Imperial Military by Admiral Wolf Yularen. The Empire's New Order. The Corps-centric political rule, which, of course, as we know, is about right. Centralized authority. And then here's like the classic Imperial propaganda. The history of the Galactic Empire. Structure of the Imperial military. You can see here we have Emperor Palpatine on the top. And we got Imperial Navy, Imperial Army, and Imperial Stormtrooper Corps. And then Military Research, Diplomatic Corps, Engineering Corps, Survey Corps and Exploration Corps, the Surgical Corps, and the Military Police. Oops, sorry if you couldn't see those. There they all are. And then, if you guys watch The Office, the part when Dwight folds down like the clear overlay, and it just shows Dwight Schrute going to every single one. So here's a description of all those branches. How can we manage a galaxy? Our strategic vision. findings. Spies and secret police. Imperial policies. Oh, bounty hunters. The Bounty Hunters Guild is now an Imperial allied holding, thanks to understanding between guild leader Greedo and the Empire's law enforcement division. If the highest bid makes the rules, as the Bounty Hunters believe, the Empire's treasury shall easily pay for the capture or assassination of our most notorious enemies. And then someone said something in the margin here. It says, as fortunes of war have shifted, this factor is beginning to work in the Alliance's favor. I think that says Mothma, like Mon Mothma. The incident at Nar Shaddaa is fresh in our memories. And then Han said, the incident, we kick their tails. The Rebel Alliance. The directive concerning these traitors is universal. Capture high-ranking members for interrogation by the ISB. Exterminate the rest. Military recruitment. That's a cool picture. That's really neat. Part 2, The Imperial Navy, by Admiral Conan Antonio Monti. I think he's the chief of the Imperial Navy. Service, fealty, fidelity. That is our motto, and it guides all dealings with the Imperial Navy, whether you count yourself in our ranks or not. The goal of the Imperial Navy is absolute dominance of known space. The functions of the Navy include blockading ports, bombarding planets, guarding shipping lanes, transporting other branches of the Imperial military. Or like propaganda posters. The Imperial Crewer. Like most of our military branches, the Imperial Navy is only as strong as the men who wear its uniform. Whether a highly trained tactical pilot, a communication specialist, a docking technician, or an officer aboard a Star Destroyer, the members of our proud service are bound by the Imperial Naval Code. I will honor the Empire in my thoughts and actions. I will obey my superiors. I will never shirk from my duties. I will maintain impeccable standards of conduct and appearance. I will use Imperial resources responsibly. I will complete every mission without hesitation, ambiguity, or mercy. I will recognize that the Empire is greater than myself and be willing to die in its service. I will call out those who do not live up to the standards of the Naval Code. It's a little on the nose, isn't it? They really just spelled it all out there. this is cool. They got all the different uniforms labeled. So here we got naval officer. 2 of them right here. Naval troopers. Imperial gunner. So this is the trooper. And the gunner. A TIE pilot. And a technician. So that's cool. Oh, they're labeled down here too. Oh yeah, so Grand Admiral. And all white, like Grand Admiral Thrawn. And then yeah, the rest of these I said. Naval officer rank insignia. So we got midshipman, it's the lowest rank. Lieutenant or lieutenant, depending on where you're from. Captain, admiral, fleet admiral, high admiral. I think this is actually different now. I don't think this is the same anymore. Like I know ensign is like the lowest rank now. So I think this has been changed. And there are more ranks than this. I made a video on the Imperial Navy and talked about all the ranks. I'll link that down in the description. It's a lore video. So if you want to check that out. And that's all canon, so if you're curious on learning about the canon stuff regarding the Imperial Navy, go check that video out. But this is still pretty cool. Structure and organization. Here's some kind of tactics. Star Destroyer down here. Innovation in Imperial Navy tactics. On route. I can't make fun of this, it's just too easy. It does seem a little. Innovation number 1, surprise, pursue, overwhelm. I mean, Han's got a point. Those are pretty silly things to call innovations. Fleet. Commander's rank, Admiral. Sector group. Multiple fleets, typically 2,400 ships. So these are a bunch of organizations of ships and whatnot. Imperial Navy ships of the fleet. So of course, Star Destroyers, the bread and butter. Right here. Interdictor cruiser, which can generate an interdiction field to pull ships out of hyperspace, which can be useful for pulling, your own ships, or pulling enemy ships out of hyperspace, or pulling your own ships out of hyperspace in precise locations, which is one of Grand Admiral Thrawn's signature tactics. Superstar Destroyers. Sovereign Eclipse class Superstar Destroyer. So there's the Executor. It's Vader's Superstar Destroyer. Naval droids. Landing craft. The Y-85 Titan dropper. Special Section, Experimental TIE Models, TIE Aggressor, TIE Hunter, the TIE Defender. This is Grand Admiral Thrawn's personal project in TIE Fighter. Does it say anything about that? Still in development, the TIE Defender promises to be the most revolutionary expression of the TIE series. I don't think so. I don't think so. TIE Phantom. Deep space hazards. Vacuum-based wildlife. The space slug that we of course see in episode 5. Here's another cool full-page illustration showing a battle between the Empire and the Rebels. These are Mon Calamari cruisers. Mission report: the Battle of Turkana. Cornering fast attack starfighters is critical for victory. Post-mission recommendations: deploy fast-moving interceptors in great numbers when facing Rebel X-Wings. Slow down enemy starfighters with tractor beams to assist our gunners in locking down small targets. Remove Captain Lennox from command. I just called out Captain Lennox in particular. So that's the Navy. Now we're moving on to the Imperial Army by High General Cassio Tague. I just talked about him in the Darth Vader lore video part 2. And I just still don't know if it's pronounced Tague or Tag. Tague, I'm not sure. I'm going with Tague. So, same thing, here's the history. Another cool looking poster. We fight, we win. The Imperial Soldier. Metal, obedience, discipline, selflessness. The Imperial Army uniforms. Imperial Army Trooper. Vehicle Command Crewer. Vehicle Command Crewer, Armored Cavalry and Heavy Armor. And Imperial Commando. So here's the Vehicle Command Crewer, the Heavy Armor, and the Armored Cavalry. Mission structure. Formations and deployment. So we got a squad is 9 troopers, and then a platoon is 4 squads, and then a company is 4 platoons. A battalion is 4 companies. Seeing a pattern here. And a regiment is 4 battalions. And a battle group is 4 regiments. Commanded by a colonel. Oh, I forgot to look at the commander. specific, just one building, no more. Does it have to be a certain size? Like, what if it's a massive building? A platoon is 4 squads, can capture a district. Oh, it's commanded by a lieutenant. A company commanded by a captain can capture a city. A battalion commanded by a major can capture a major urban center, which is of course different than a city. And then a regiment, which is commanded by a lieutenant colonel, can capture a territorial region. And a colonel and their battle group can capture a continent. Oh wait, there's more. A corps can capture a planet, which is 4 battle groups commanded by a major general. And finally, an army, can capture a system commanded by a general. So, shall we do some quick math? How many soldiers are in a army? So a squad has 9 troopers. 9 times 4 is 36. Times 4 again, I'm gonna start rounding here, is like 140 something. Let's just say 140. Times 4 is like 560. So 560 times 4 is like 2,000 from there at a regiment. Times 4 is 8,000. Times 4 is 32,000. Times 4 is about 120,000. If my calculations are correct, which they might not be. So, about 120,000 troopers in an army. Here we got the vehicles by Colonel Fears, who we see in episode 5, commanding the AT-AT. So there it is, the AT-AT Walker. Leg joints vulnerable to artillery attack. Here is the AT-PT, all-terrain personal transport. The AT-RT, which I've never actually seen in the Imperial era. I've only ever seen it in the Clone Wars. I haven't actually seen the Empire using these. We got the AT-DP, all-terrain defense pod. This guy, which we see in Rebels quite a bit. The self-propelled heavy artillery. Repulsor units. Troop transport. And of course the speeder bike. Imperial garrisons. Shield projector. Here's some like cool blueprint type deals of garrisons. Different types of garrisons. Here's the first gen details, genetic template, Jango Fett, Concord Dawn, Geonosis, former bounty hunter. So of course this is before first gen clothes, and then they switched to recruitment, conscripted units. Current stormtrooper recruiting requirements. Height 1.79 to 1.85 meters. Recruitment. There's the armor. Helmet. Shoulder armor. Belt, gauntlets, body glove, knee pads, boots. Han said, "Don't pick up an abandoned stormtrooper helmet of a Wookiee recently passed that way. There might still be a head inside it." Here's some more. Here's Stormtrooper officer in the duty uniform. Stormtrooper officer in their armor. And a Stormtrooper officer with the unit markings. So that's kind of neat. The officers. Here's the E11 blaster. Excerpt from the Imperial Stormtrooper Core Field Manual. Another one here. Maintaining squad formation. Here's the 501st Legion. Continued on from the Clone Wars to become Vader's Fist. Yeah, there it is. We are elite warriors who serve the Emperor, but we are proud to call ourselves Vader's Fist. So, specializations. We get Aquatic Assault Stormtroopers, Bomb Squad Stormtroopers, Incinerator, Imperial Marines, Hazard Stormtroopers, Riot Stormtroopers, Desert Stormtroopers, Cold Assault Stormtroopers, Snow Troopers. Definitely one of my favorites. Swamp Troopers, Zero-G Assault Scout Troopers, which are of course in Return of the Jedi. And then we got the elite Stormtrooper units. Another cool looking propaganda type poster. Terror Troopers. I think this is a Legends thing. Created as cyborg experiments conducted by the Imperial Department of Military Research. These stormtroopers bear the codename Terror Troopers. So, yeah, these are no longer canon. Dark Troopers. I missed the strength, order, and obedience. High-value targets: Senator Bail Organa, Admiral Akbar, Mon Mothma, Dodana, super weapons. There's the Death Star. The Death Star. Here's some specs on the Death Star. Personnel: 343,000 naval crewers, 27,000 naval officers, 400,000 droids. So, a lot. Here's a cutaway of the Death Star. Pretty neat looking. There's another one deeper in that shows more of like the core. Priority targets: potential rebel bases, staging areas, or depots. Worlds providing political or strategic aid to the rebellion. A concluding note from His Imperial Majesty. And I think that's it for, that's it for the Imperial Handbook. Very neat book. Seems pretty packed with information. Unfortunately, it's, like I said, not canon, so some of the information is of dubious, canonicity, if that's a word. So, it's kind of like a cool little resource, but if you're looking for a canon structure and understanding of the Empire and its military, it might not be the best source. But again, if you're interested, I did make a canon lore video about it that I said I'll link, so if you want to learn a lot about the Imperial Navy, and actually it's pretty much just the Navy that I did the video on. But if you want to learn about that, go check that video out. But I still think this is kind of worth picking up just because it's like a neat resource, and there's a lot of other stories in here, and like case studies and notes, and it's pretty cool. So again, even though it's not canon, it's still pretty neat, I think. Okay, let's bring in the other one. I'll try to go a little bit faster here. But we have the Bounty Hunter Code. So, on the front here we have kind of like a target type, like crosshairs. That's the word I'm looking for, crosshair. And then the Mythosaur skull, the Mandalorian logo. And again, kind of same thing on the back is Mythosaur. And we got these like textured pages, which are in fact flinging little tiny pieces of paper all over my table, but that's okay. I'll clean them up later. Incident report. See Starship Slave 1 located in geosynchronous Tatooine orbit. Vets Bounty Hunters Guild Handbook. Star Destroyer in episode 5, and Dengar, who was the human guy with metal armor and like the face wraps, also in that same scene. And of course Boba Fett. So the Bounty Hunter code. Dengar gave me this copy of the handbook. Bossk and Greedo must have owned it before him. Their notes are written throughout. Knowing what the guild is up to and how they do business has proven useful to me. The basics. Misconceptions about bounty hunters. Do bounty hunters kill for money? Yes, but not indiscriminately, and not merely for personal gain. And then Bossk wrote, there's nothing wrong with mere personal gain. Are bounty hunters murderers? No, murderers kill unlawfully. Are all bounty hunters members of the Bounty Hunters Guild? No, unfortunately for them, some hunters prefer to work independently. Kill if the job requires it, but always stay in control, and never go outside the terms of the contract. Becoming a bounty hunter. Requirements for joining the Bounty Hunters Guild. Must be sponsored by at least one existing member of the Bounty Hunters Guild. Guess you gotta know someone to get in. 750 credits. Minimum of 5 confirmed captures with bounty payouts totaling at least 20,000 credits. Each candidate must survive the initiation test. This is kind of funny. Poor Greedo. wanted in excess of 200,000 credits. Galactic. So these are all different levels of bounties. 50,000 to 200,000 credits. Regional. 20,000 to 75,000. Sector system and planetary, 3,000 to 50,000. Corporate bounties. Here's Zero the Hutt. I did some work for Zero. Paid almost as well as Jabba. Bossk. Hunting permits. Pursuing multiple bounties. Methods of payment. Rights of salvage. Contractor resources. This one's very text heavy, so sorry for not being able to point a ton out without reading it, but hopefully it's still kind of neat to flip through. Our History by Kennequiyu, Chief Custodian of the Bounty Hunters Guild Museum and Library. Is that him? He's almost wearing like a Jedi outfit. Maybe more of an Old Republic Jedi. The birth of the Guild. Guild Bounty Hunters. Thrask. Tisu. Seiya. Kikrim. The suitably bloody legend of Thokos. I actually have absolutely no idea what species this is. Interesting. It's like, she looks like an orc. But yeah, I don't know what that is. I know there is the species. I don't know if it's canon anymore. I'll have to look it up. It's in the Old Republic game. There is a species that's blind that wears these, like wraps over their eyes, but they don't, at least to my knowledge, have facial structures like that. So I don't know. The Hunt by Rosan Paroki, Director of Training, 18-year veteran of the Guild. So there she is. Phase 1, Selection. Phase 2, Evaluation. Mon Mothma. The payout for her capture is astronomical. Nothing special about rebels. They die like everyone else. Bossk. Phase 3, Preparation. A Shadow Hunter and a Detection Hunter. Phase 4, is useful for quick escapes. Always keep a reserve in the fuel tanks. Boba. Except, it was his jetpack that sent him pummeling into the Sarlacc pit, so there's that, but I guess he did technically now make it out, didn't he? Disarming an enemy. Going hand to hand. Forgive his fights. If your target has legs, break them. I like Bossk's commentary. I really like that one where Greedo's like, the initiation was tough, and then Bossk was like, it's a joke. I like Bossk's commentary. There's an infographic of sorts. The hot wiring diagram is stenciled on the inside of your guild vehicular toolkit. This is a hot wiring diagram. Boarding a hover train. That was in the Clone Wars arc with Boba Fett as a kid. Surviving an animal attack. Crash landing and surviving when marooned. Patching wounds. So, a bunch of medical tips and tricks. Tools of the Trade by Gentoo Check. So there he is. Tracking devices, surveillance gear. Repulsor lift speeders. Air speeders. The T-47 and the Orbit Blade 2000. There's land speeders. The Mandal Motors BAX-7 and the Surosubs V-35. Speeder bikes. Target trappers. Crowd control. Pulse rifle. Deck sweeper. ABC scrambler. Emits a disorienting ultrasonic shriek and releases a cloud of chemical irritants. Depending on what kinds of organs your target used to navigate, he might stagger around in circle, or fall to his knees and vomit up his lunch. Updated armor's ABC countermeasures plus redundant backups. Boba. Defense items. Ranged weapons. The blaster rifle. Good balance of firepower, accuracy, and weight. blaster, disruptor pistol, a slug thrower rifle, neural inhibitor, a specialty equipment, force gauge. So I read it, and it doesn't actually seem to be anything for constraining force wielders. It's more just like a electro or like an energy field type gauge. I was gonna say it's weird that it's like force gauge because there's no, at least in this era, there's no more Jedi. And like the only force wielders are Vader and Palpatine, and they really don't like, and they're not like super known across the galaxy. So, but it's just like an energy field gauge. Okay, bear wings, that's kinda cool looking. Bear wings are still experimental. Don't ask for them if you can handle them. Advantages of guild membership by Radak Ramlook. So he's kind of a cockroach type deal. Equipment, information, mediation, reciprocity, repairs, reputation, retirement. Does that just mean like death? The word makes me want to kill everything in blaster range. I guess to Bossk, retirement does mean death. Sanctuary training. So these are all the reasons to join the Bounty Hunter Guild. Employment opportunities. I guess at the Bounty Hunter Guild, if you don't want to be a bounty hunter, there's lots of other employment opportunities. Information services. Imperial Enforcement Data Corps. Posting agencies. Information brokers. Non-standard Imperial bounties. Private postings. Expeditors, receivers. Corporate territories. The Huts. Affiliate Bounty Hunter Guilds by Va Kopolungum. To better comprehend the unique characteristics of each house, please consult the following key. So these are affiliate guilds. House Benelix, 1200 hunters. House Tresario, 1700 hunters. The Slaver Syndicate, that doesn't sound good. Unknown, but believed to be over 2,000 active hunters and slavers. Oh, these are the Zygerian slavers that we see in the Clone Wars. House Paramexor and House Nuvalis, 600 hunters and 6,700 hunters. The Ragnar Syndicate and House Arenlis. Mantis Syndicate, House Salatori. have shot himself if he tried. Bossk just likes to bully Greedo. That's really funny. There's Death Watch. Mandalore. The true history of the Mandalorians. Here's Mandalore the Indomitable. Mandalore the Unifier. Mandalore Neo-Crusaders advancing under fire during the onslaught. Here's more Mandalorian history stuff. Beskar for the armor. Here's Cass's fit. Mandalorian armor. There's jetpack. Symbols and unit insignias. We got the Mythosaur skull. And there's the actual Mythosaur. There's Crusader, Neo-Crusader. J-Guys. Death Watch. There's the symbol that we see on Boba Fett's armor. The little excerpt from Jango. Here's the helmet. And the jetpack. Recruiting. We cannot openly recruit and train personnel. Where do we find potential watchers? Many places. Clan, industry, law enforcement. Mandalorian world/enclaves. Mercenaries/bounty hunters. Training. Operation profiles. Recon, raid, ambush, strike, infiltration, and destabilization. huge deal. I'll clean that up after the video. So, the Bounty Hunter code was a bit heavier on text, whereas the Imperial Handbook had a lot more figures and, interesting stuff that we could look at. So I went a little bit faster, but hopefully it was still cool to see it nonetheless, and hopefully you guys still kind of thought it was enjoyable and neat to check out. And again, like I said, if you're interested in checking these two out, the video will be linked in the description, as well as the video to the Imperial Navy that I mentioned. So, anyways, that is the Bounty Hunter's Code and the Imperial Handbook in the box set of these 4 books. So, let me know what you guys thought. Did you like the books? And of the 4? Or, I guess of these 2, which was your favorite? And if you've seen the other video, what was your favorite of the 4? I think I really liked the Sith book.